Patch 4.1 opens up with Kuchiba screening the Trailblazer in March for any remnants of memetic viruses after the Sparksea incident, and it is here we get the news of Scott's death. It is then March asks the Trailblazer, after meeting with Welt, what went down between Himiko and her father. The Trailblazer retells the story, mentioning the weathering curse that Himiko had been saddled with. Ryusuke claims he had been searching the galaxy for a cure all along, and didn't have the courage to reach out to Himiko after hearing she could be the Express Navigator. After speaking with the Trailblazer, he expresses gratitude that Himiko survived, and would like a tour of the Astral Express. The Express crew gives Ryusuke a tour, and afterward, he tries to convince Himiko to stay in Planet Arcadia. She insists on staying with the Express, and tells him they will solve the Herald of Death copycat case and protect Planet Arcadia. Ryusuke acknowledges her resolve, and tells Himiko that he'll hand over the Graphia family's records regarding the Phantasmoon games. Pearl, the ruler of Planet Arcadia, sends an invitation to the Trailblazer and the Nameless to have a meeting. On the way, they spot Ashvale, who was also summoned by Pearl. He spoke with some Smile Society members in an attempt to sneak into the cult, but was interrupted by the Trailblazer in March. He rides with the Nameless to Pearlux Tower, where they go their separate ways. As the crew takes a photo with the giant mech, Nihilux, who claims to be part of the technology department, photobombs them. She takes the group on a tour of the tower. During the tour, the crew runs into Cinderborn of the Daybreak Squadron, a group of local masked heroes. As a huge fan of the Astral Express and the crew, he challenges the Trailblazer to Mechatron combat. The rest of the squadron also arrive for the challenge, and even 4-on-1, the Trailblazer emerges victorious. After a group photo commemorating the sparring match, Cinderborn expresses that he wishes to be a hero like the Trailblazer. We enter Pearl's office and speak with her about the Phantasmoon games. She wants to know our purpose for joining the games. We get a flashback to the Trailblazer explaining to Himiko their goal, which is to have Aha lead the Anti-Destruction Alliance. Upon hearing this goal, Pearl is unimpressed and believes the Trailblazer didn't stand a chance. She explains that she became a supplicant as well, and has other supplicants on her side. She proposes an alliance with the crew and reveals her ultimate goal is to recreate Graphia's Imaginesis, and create her own world in Canvas. She tells us her intent to hold a Star Rail Fest Expo, as a sign of their alliance, and bade the crew to visit Blurry QR Cult, the creator of the Fluffy comic, and hands us one of Aventurine's chips as a symbol of their alliance. After the crew departs, Pearl makes a deal with Ashvale that he's allowed to get revenge for the murders of the Herald of Death case. After this, Ashvale and Kuchiba investigate the Research Society of Happy Smiles and discover their sponsor, Full Wish, is giving a speech in town. They notice quickly at how unhinged her speech became, and realize the Research Society was no more than a cult. Ashvale and Kuchiba interrogate Full Wish out in the open, but she already knew why they were there, to inquire about the new Herald of Death. She tells them that she lacks any useful information for the two, but vows to work with the cult to protect Planet Arcadia's future. During the interactions with the Society, Ashvale spots Cinderborn in the crowd. Ashvale and Kuchiba chase him down, and Cinderborn claims the Society helped them move past the tragedy of 15 years ago. And Ashvale finds himself surrounded by other members of the Society. Even after they were defeated, they felt no pain. Cinderborn mentioned a surgery they all underwent, and when Ashvale pressed him for answers, he explains the happiness surgery. Cinderborn did not take the surgery, as he was terrified of what everyone became as a result. After reconvening with Kuchiba, Ashvale suspects that Star Rail Fest would be the ideal location for the new Herald of Death to start another killing spree. Meanwhile, Dan Heng tracks down Blade, and Sunday and Tingyun continue their investigation, turning their attention to the Research Society of Happy Smiles. The The Trailblazer and March reunite with Nihilux, aka Blurry QR Cult. They successfully convince Nihilux to join Star Rail Fest, and catch up with Himiko and Welt. Himiko expresses worry that Star Rail Fest may become a target for the new Herald of Death, and tells March and the Trailblazer to stay vigilant. As we tour the event with March, we reunite with Evanesha, who wanted the Trailblazer to return the favor of gifting them a mask. The Trailblazer agrees and gets Evanesha into the exhibition areas. During the Cianjo exhibition areas, the group is accosted by the Daybreak Squadron, who claim they're supplicants, and demand to challenge the Trailblazer in combat. The Trailblazer beats them easily, and the Daybreak Squadron retreats for now. Evanesha parts with the group after the Trailblazer carelessly states that she's the one who made the Trailblazer's mask. Before leaving, she states that wish power is coursing through their mask, and hopes they make things interesting with it. We encounter Ashvale and Kuchiba during the Penacony exhibition, and make our way to a Mecha Pom-Pom. There, the Daybreak Squadron made absurd claims at the Express crew, claiming they wanted to rob the mindshare of the native Planarcadians. They state every member has undergone the happiness surgery and will defeat the Trailblazer to protect the hearts of the local residents. After using their powers to bring the Mecha Pom-Pom to life, the Trailblazer does battle with it and emerges victorious. However, the train they battled on derailed, and ended up in a strange underground station. Himiko speculates the crew fell into a piece of the world in canvas, and needed to escape as soon as possible. Ashvale had captured the Daybreak Squadron, and realized they were too far gone. Cinderborn pleaded with his friends to give it up, but Ashvale told him they were no longer human since the surgery. Ashvale used his powers to consume the Daybreak Squadron, and learned they were the new Heralds of Death. Cinderborn was less traumatized as his former friends were eaten alive, and Ashvale tells him if he wants revenge, he won't get in his way. Ashvale reveals his true identity to the Express crew as La Mancha, the head of the Galaxy Rangers, and he tells the Trailblazer to take out Aventuring's chip as it's a locator. However, the Trailblazer came under the spell of a mysterious voice that coaxed him into following them. Ashvale manages to step in and save them, and warn them to be careful of this strange locale. The world in canvas began to stir violently, to the point that it began affecting reality. Pearl used her powers to seal off the torn scroll, but not before rescuing the Trailblazer and company. Ashvale updates Pearl on the fates of the Daybreak Squadron, which leads to the question of how they became supplicants in the first place, and how they bore the flesh of abundance. Pearl suspected Foolwish was behind this, and after everyone left, Pearl reasserts her end of the bargain with Ashvale, and that she will grant him his wish of dying peacefully. The story ends with Silverwolf and Blade meeting up with Ashvale, asking for his assistance once more. Meanwhile, Yao Guang arrives at the mysterious Phantom Moon courtyard, and recognizes the power of abundance in the form of the tree. It is there she meets Evanesha, whom Yao Guang couldn't determine the fate of. With the Trailblazer, Himiko tells them that their companions must be notified of Foolwish's plans. And when the Trailblazer goes to a spot to take a break, the Phantom Moon grows in the sky, claiming that the winner of the Phantom Moon games won't just become Aha for 1 minute, they will become Aha permanently. The stakes are starting to grow, and with this announcement, the nature of the games has changed forever. How will the supplicants react to this announcement? Who will drop out? And who will take this to their advantage? We'll have to find out in patch 4.2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later.